I think everybody knows how I stand, because I said everything I had to say last time. I just wanted to say, I hope that y'all consider us, consider everybody really, but hope y'all consider what we feel about the road and just keep in mind that to us, it's not just an old dirt road. So that's all I want to say, and I hope y'all thought about it before we got here, and I hope y'all, looked into it and all that, so you can make a good decision. All right, thank you.
Right. Anybody for it can speak now if you want to speak. I'm gonna alternate it. Anybody? Okay. All right. Next up, state your name and whether you're for it or against.
My name is Ben Turner. I live down Lake Pearl Road. I'm against the closing of Lake Pearl Road. And I'd like to submit to y'all a petition. The first 2 pages are all residents of Lake Pearl Road, and the remaining pages are people who live in Sarasota.
All right. We'll pass it around.
Like I said, I live down Lake Pearl Road. We use the road daily, both ways. I've lived there my entire life, and I've lived where I live now since 2010. As it sits right now, it would seem that my driveway may end up being fenced off, depending on which way this goes. There's some posts in my driveway right now, on the property line, not on my property, but on the property line. But it would result in me having to move my driveway to a different part of my property, maybe, I don't know, 175, 200 yards away from it where it is now. I feel like also that if, nothing against the police jury, but if we abandon that section of road, that the rest of the road's probably not gonna get maintained, the little bit of dirt road that's left, because, it's in disrepair right now. I know we've been getting a lot of rain and everything, but it's a really small section of road that would be left that's gravel, and I feel like that might get pushed under the road, if that happens. Maybe not, but that's just my thoughts. Aside from that, like I said, we use the road daily, and it's been a public road my whole life, and for 70-something years, I'm sure, so I feel like it should stay that way.
Ben, you said there's some posts.
Yes.
What's the post for?
There's a, so the property line runs where this barbed wire fence is. That's the road. This barbed wire fence, that goes onto my property. There's a barbed wire fence here that's on my property line. And this fence is on the property line, and they intend to high fence around the property. And obviously that would cross my driveway, so.
The road's right here, and this little area is somebody else's property?
No, this is my property. This is my driveway, and it spills out onto the road there. I'll give you this picture, but
Your house is back here?
yeah, my house is back there.
I might be able to explain that a little bit better. Apparently, there's a misunderstanding about a right-of-way, public road, and title, okay? For instance, yes, the people who bought Lake Pearl own the property, but it's subject to a right-of-way. So they won't be able to put a fence to block the driveway.
But the posts still remain, and we've talked about that.
No, I
Yeah,
understand. I'm just saying
and
that
it's,
I think there's some misunderstanding on the property owner's part that they can block off
Right.
from right-of-way.
and it leads.
Is your house on the portion that they're closing?
Well, that's what I was fixing to say. No, because the gate would be past my driveway, but if the fence is,
No, I
that doesn't make
understand what you're saying.
sense.
If, let's assume that the police jury votes to close the road,
Mhm.
they will not be able to block the driveway just because they have title to the property.
Sure.
The owner title to the property is always subject to a right-of-way.
Right.
So if the rest of the road remains public, they can't block you off.
Understand.
Now, if the police jury does vote to close it, then that portion of the road, they would be allowed to block off people, unless the lawsuit would be filed.
Right.
It's a little confusing.
So you're saying though that like Mr. Barbin has property further down and his property is landlocked, he'd be blocked from getting to his property?
Well, unless there would be a lawsuit filed. If they, but this is assuming that they would vote to close that portion.
Right.
Okay.
No, yeah, I'm just trying to understand.
And I'm
sure
not,
that I
I'm not trying to
understand.
argue with you, I'm trying to tell you that in
I
your
want to
case,
understand,
yeah, it's different parts concerning public road, one that's dedicated versus one that's just by use or by, repairs to the road. It's technically a public road right now,
Right.
which is the only reason you're here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Mr. Turner, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
And I don't mean you to disrespect at all.
No.
But my understanding is that they're gonna greatly enhance this road, and you're still gonna have access to it.
Okay.
I don't understand why you're against it.
Because right now I don't have to pass through a gate to go down the road. Right now I can pass when I want, how many times I want, day, night.
A gate is your opposition?
Yeah. Because to be honest with you, that portion of the road going that way is better than the road going to the highway for me right now. Realistically. And I feel like it just should stay open. That's, like I said, it's just my opinion.
okay.
Well, everybody,
Yeah.
you're welcome. You certainly have
And
the right.
listen, nothing against nobody that in here, I promise. That's just my opinion.
All right, somebody else want to speak?
What is this? This trail ride ordinance, correct?
No, it's coming up, this is,
Correct. I'm sorry.
abandonment of the road.
Yes, sir. My name is Jonathan Borbin, and I oppose closing the road. I just feel like, I feel like just leave it like it is, where everybody can still, you know, use the road like it's always been. And also for like emergency, medical emergencies, I feel like, you know, that it could mean, you know, I just feel like could mean life or death for somebody, you know, closing the road, an ambulance not getting to the people that, and an accident happens. And like I said, I just oppose.
Anybody else?
I do need to add something else. I talked to Rock Bartlemore. One of the key things, and this depends on how y'all vote, if the road is closed, there's got to be a turnaround at the beginning and the end for buses, ambulances, and garbage pickup. So they won't use private driveways. That's assuming that y'all would close it, okay? And he agrees to that.
So the first part, if you guys do choose to close the road, if you look at the diagram that Mr. Turner showed you, you will see that there's where there is public access, then there's private land, then there's their land. So even if the road stays open or is closed, Mr. Turner is passing on my property now every day whenever he goes to his house. He does have access further down the public deeded road that he can go to anytime that he wants to, and he can have access to that. For Mr. Jonathan, I told him that I would give him an in writing, and we will record it with the courts, that gives him proper access to his property. See, he can get access through the person that he bought it from and come from Highway 115, but we won't do that. I will give him a deeded property to go into, just like we discussed, in the event that that doesn't happen. Now, if the road is closed, then we will do that. Just like you and I talked about, and you got with Corey, and he was supposed to be drawing it up so that we could look at it and sign it.
Right.
You know, and so, the thing about ambulance access, if the road is closed, there is no need for ambulance access. However, there will be a gate code that will be there in addition to a clicker. When he's talking about having to go through a gate, guys, we're putting a clicker with an electric gate that would be there. And the reason that I want to close the road is because we're going to have people that are going to be coming to the lake that we believe that it would be a lot more secure for the individuals that are going to be coming and hunting with us whenever we're taking our clients out there and various people. More important, I challenge any of you guys to go and sit on that road a little bit, and I can show y'all videos of drug deals that have gone down, and I think I've showed several people in here that, and things that happen. And if I'm gonna invest a bunch of money into the parish, and we're gonna have $600,000 or $800,000 worth of movable equipment on the road, we need it closed, because if not, it's gonna get stolen, just as it has for many years. That's why I wanna close the road, to prevent people from stealing on our property.
All right. DA, you want anything, add to anything?
Well, Rock, I just wanted to make sure, there may not be a use for ambulances or buses or golf trucks to pass through, but you did agree that you would build turnarounds on each side, so they wouldn't have to use part of the driveway, right?
Absolutely, I 100% agree to that, and we can put it in writing that we will create a nice turnaround by each gate so that any public service, that whether it's a garbage truck or an ambulance or a bus or anybody, will have a nice turnaround so they can turn around. We're talking about blocking out 1 mile of the road, and just a little less than a mile will be left. I will also disagree that the road going to Mr. Turner's house from the current highway is in better shape. It's not. I know y'all heard reports of how ambulances and FedEx trucks got stuck. Well, that's the part of the road that we're trying to close, so I can build it up 2 to 3 feet and spend about $1 million improving it, so that I don't get stuck when I take my clients and the people that are going. So I want to improve the road, and that's going to give you guys, for the dollars that you do have to improve the road, to improve a smaller part, which actually saves the government money, because we're going to take care of the rest of it.
Okay.
I have a question. I know I wasn't on there, but I was thinking this was something else. When you close a road, you still own it. If police bureau closes the road, they still own it? They don't own it. We don't.
Don't confuse the two
Yeah,
then.
okay.
What I was bringing up earlier is that even if you buy property that's subject to a right-of-way, that person may own the property, but it's subject to a right-of-way. If the police jury closes the road, they no longer own it.
No longer own it. Okay. Yeah, because,
And let me explain something else. If the police jury votes to close the road, that doesn't stop an individual from filing suit saying it's a public road, even though it's not a police jury road. Okay?
yeah, this got my attention, because a
So,
friend of mine was run off of the place. They just taken the bridge out, having closed the road, and the guy told him, get off the road. That was a long time ago.
Okay.
Okay.
can I ask a question? Can I ask one
Yeah.
question? If they do put the fence across his road, then he has to spend money to make a new driveway so that somebody else can be comfortable? Well, how is that fair to him? Why is it that he can come free to his house, and now he has to pay to get to his house because somebody wants the luxury of driving on a nice little gravel road? How does the interest of 2 people outweigh the interest of everybody that lives on that road? That's my question. I don't understand money. I understand all of that, okay? But that law was made a long time ago to protect people like us. That's why the law is there. Somebody said, wait, we gotta make a law for this, okay? Or else whoever comes along can just take what they want. Well, so the law is there for us. It's a law. Somebody voted and passed that. Representatives did that. Why all of a sudden can it be changed just for what somebody wants? I just can't understand that.
One second. All right, I'm gonna close this meeting. We got 2 others, so, thank you.
Mr.
Terry lives on the road too.
Okay, well, come on.
My name's Jerry Raines. I've been here about 8 years. I live here on Lake Pearl. I'm against, that's,
Please.
I'm still Terry Raines and I still live here 8 years. I'm against it, and I got a question. If our road's not abandoned, it is neglected. But if we were to abandon the whole road, my property line goes into the water. So does that right of way revert back to Terry? If so, then I may not want him down there, or I may give Mr. Ben right away. That's what I'm just wanting to know, because I don't go that way very often, but when I do, it's because the road's blocked the other end. You know what I mean? I like having open-ended roads. I'm from Franklin Parish. We're in the process of getting rid of gravel, you know, and I've called up here a couple times and y'all said you're never gonna go that route. Well, now we're gonna start abandoning roads, just so we won't never have to do anything like that. So, my answer to my question would be,
Mr. Rhodes?
You gave a complicated question because I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but it's not the whole road. And listen, as I speak, I'm speaking only as the advisor, trying to give both sides as much as possible. They're talking about closing, I think it's 9/10 of a mile. Okay, it would block anybody else from going through unless a person would file suit to open up it as a public road as opposed to a police jury road.
so,
Mr. Terry, where's your piece of property at?
I'm the second house, I think. I'm the second part of Desautel's subdivision.
Okay, so that is, that.
I'm
that
way
piece of
down
road is
before
already-
that.
That's the piece of road.
Yeah, I
that's
just won't know
already
if we're gonna abandon
involved.
part of it, let's abandon all of it.
No, he's talking about the port from the highway,
The
from the
bridge
bridge
highway,
side,
yeah.
that's already in the courthouse, sorry, that already goes all the way up to almost where the wood bridge, if I'm not mistaken. That, we're not talking, Mr. Terry, that's not talked about closing,
The deed
to
of
my
road-
knowledge.
The deeded road stops ahead of the bridge, the wooden bridge?
I think so, if I'm not mistaken, does it? It stops right at your property, but I think
Well, that's
you
what
have
I'm
access
asking.
to that deeded road.
Well, that's-
The corner of your property.
That's what
I
I'm
think,
asking,
right?
so in theory, if the road is abandoned, then the portion that I own on both sides of the road would become.
Okay, Mr. President, can I ask one or two questions, or you want to do that
We
in a
got two
regular
more
meeting?
meetings.
Either which way, we have to spend the same amount of time, and I want to give fairness. Rock,
So,
correct me if I'm wrong, but was not the proposed gate gonna be past where Wesley owns his piece of property up to where it goes in the other end, up the hill? Am I right or wrong about that?
you're correct, it's past Mr. Turner's house.
And actually,
And
he is
all of his
200
land.
feet on Wesley's property also.
That is
Because remember
correct.
Wesley had called and he was concerned, so there would not be, am I
And-
wrong?
and what-
There's no gate anywhere to be
Right.
Turner, right?
No, so he still has full access to the road. And the deeded road ends where the Lake Pearl property starts, which is right past the wooden bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So the deed, back when Darrell Duzatel sold the property to those guys, he granted deeded access and gave it to the parish, and it goes to the beginning of the Lake Pearl property. So Mr. Turner still has 100% access, whether I were to go and fence my property off or not. So where they were talking about where he goes every day, he's passing on my property and trespassing every day right now. So he could,
Not really, it's still a public parish.
Okay, guys.
That's why we're here voting.
Hey, I'm not gonna hear none of that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Not gonna hear none of that.
Is not the gate, Rock, gonna be past his property?
correct,
Towards the closed court? Am I right or wrong about that?
you're 100% right.
That's what was proposed before, and it actually was a few hundred feet actually east on Wesley, Wesley's
Goche's
property. Goche's
Yes, sir, and I have a letter of support from Wesley.
Where, that's where the gate is gonna be, am I right? Or-
Yes, you're 100% correct.
So, essentially, I understand about the property, and we understand about the public road, right? I understand both parts, but the gate's gonna be way past the property.
But then why the fence post in my driveway?
Oh, no, sir, I don't know about that.
That's,
Yeah,
you understand?
what about the
A
fence
gate or a
post?
fence, I still have to move my driveway.
I put a post everywhere where the surveyor put a property line marker. And if you go and look at it, that's what you will see. From the edge of from the beginning of the bayou, all the way to where the surveyor had gotten up to when we put the post.
So I had a surveyor come out and the post that's in my driveway, there's no monument there. It's,
Yeah, and just so everybody can understand again, when they bought the property, yes, they own it, but it's subject to a right-of-way. Okay, you'll need to understand that you can't block off this property, because the right-of-way in Avoyelles Parish has been declared in the 60s.
on my
and it's
survey
been
plan,
at
it
least
says
30
40
feet.
foot.
And it's a public right-of-way at this point. You know, I understand that people think when they buy property that they can do whatever they want with it, but if it's subject to a public right-of-way, it can't be done. I mean, it would be subject to a lawsuit, but
Okay, we got two other.
I'm sorry.
All right, thank y'all for your comments. All right, moving on, we got a public meeting hearing on abandoning a part of Bayou Rouge Road. Anybody here to? Okay, and we'll move on, then no objection. All right, now, here for the trail ride ordinance, public hearing, anybody want to speak?
Oh,
Trail ride,
it really.
state your name for the record, please.
My name is Lem Thomas, I'm from Monty, Louisiana. And the reason why it got my attention, because I was thinking about having some things on my own property. And you know, you start making the trail ride complicated, and I talked to some guys about a rodeo. Some guys out of Mississippi, they'll bring a rodeo to you. And it got my attention, because you know, I don't know the last time I saw a rodeo in Avoyelles Parish. And I talked to a guy about home run derbies, plenty of room, and I was wondering if trail ride ordinances would lead to something else, and that's why it got my attention. I'm not really against anyone being safe, but I'm confused if something is actually on your own property. That's what I'm not a student of the law like Mr. Riddle, but if it's on my property, and that's something else. But if you get on public property, then you're all subject to rules
Yeah,
of
well, that's
law.
why we got
And that's
this.
all.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just a quick explanation, because I contacted the state police. If to get to your property, they have to use a state highway or a public road, that's the whole purpose of the ordinance. And the size of it would make a difference, okay, because of what's happened in the past. State police has informed me that there's no such thing as a permit to close a highway. No, Parish can grant a permit to close a public road, and hopefully they would work with the sheriff and all that and have alternative routes. But there is no provision under the law for state police to grant a permit to close a public highway for anybody.
So it probably wouldn't mess with my rodeo or.
No, they're not using the public road, you don't have to worry.
Yeah,
Thank you.
most
Yes, sir.
most of this was proposed and done by the sheriff for the safety aspect of it.
Understand.
So that everybody would understand where it was taking place, how many cops needed to be there, how many other security people needed to be there. It wasn't done to keep you from having a trail ride or a rodeo on your property.
A home run derby.
Anybody else? All right. We'll close that hearing also. We got about 7 minutes. Anybody wishing to speak on anything on the agenda, please fill out a card. And we'll get started at 5 o'clock with the regular meeting.
It was arbitrary.
I'd like to call the meeting to the Avoyelles Parish Police Jury order. Today's date is Tuesday, March 11, 2025, 5 p.m. Please stand for the opening prayer followed by the pledge. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with humble hearts, so thankful for our many blessings. We thank you for the opportunity to serve our community. Grant us wisdom, humility, and unity as we make decisions for the good of all. Guide our discussions with fairness and integrity, and bless our parish with peace and prosperity. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon. Welcome everybody. Start out with roll call.
Darren Wiley.
Here.
Travis Franks.
Present.
Mark Orr.
Here.
Darrell Cannon.
Here.
Todd Denson.
Here.
McKinley Keller. Alan Thomas.
Present.
Jacob Coco.
Here.
Sam Peters.
Here. All right, item 5, I need a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 11, 2025, as printed in the weekly news, emailed, and mailed to all jurors. Motion by Mr. Coco, second by Mr. Pierce. Questions, comments from the jurors? Questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Take number 6 for Commissioner Allen.
Adopt the minutes of the Tourist Commission meeting held on February 24, 2025, as presented.
Okay, motion been made, and a second by Mr. Pierce. Question, discussion, Mr. Thomas?
Just a quick note on the 22nd is that herbal class that's going to be, it's herbal medicine class is going to be at the fire station in Bartlomville. And last year they had quite a bit of a group, and this year they moved it to Bartlomville because they couldn't hold all the people at the fire station at the museum. So they're hoping for a nice crowd at that.
Okay.
Oh, yes, also, yes, on the 20th, here in Marksville, is the sign dedication for Little Walter. That will be at, I think at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and our Lieutenant Governor will be here for that. He has called and confirmed, Billy Nungesser, that he will be here for that. And there will be a small reception, I think, at the fire hall right here in Marksville afterwards.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, yours? Comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll move to the delegations. First up, we have Mr. Greg Mayhew from Caritas.
Good afternoon, Police Jury. My name is Greg Mayhew. I'm the Vice President of Caritas Manufacturing in Mansura. Thank you for the opportunity for us to speak with y'all. Mr. Allen visited our facility a couple weeks ago, and he asked that I come here and kind of give you guys a rundown of Caritas, you know, the history of Caritas and what we do for the employees and, of course, the community. For those who may not be familiar with our company, Caritas has a rich history in the manufacturing industry. Our name was derived by the process years ago where they tested valves with kerosene, which said we're going to be Caritas. So we are the leading manufacturer of valves, controls, and specialized products used in the energy markets, in utility markets, and in industrial applications. Our products are essential for ensuring the safety, the efficiency, and reliability of many sectors, which is crucial to the infrastructure of our country. I brought with me both Jessica Hayes, who is our HR manager, and Troy Bryant, he's the production superintendent of our facility here in Mansura. Caritas was founded in 1909 with a vision of producing high-quality, energy-efficient products. In 1970, Caritas quadrupled in size when we entered the nuclear market. We were making valves or they were making valves at that time for the nuclear industry. In 1983, we became an ESOP company. A ESOP company is an employee-owned company. So basically, everybody that works at Caritas owns a part of it. When you leave from Caritas, whether you are terminated, which we don't want that to happen, you retire, or you find another place you move, those shares are basically paid out to you. So that was a huge step in bringing us to where we are today. In 1989, Caritas purchased the facility in Mansura because of demand for our valves. In 2003, we began manufacturing the Polyball, which is our plastic ball valve for the natural gas industry. That is one of the major product lines in the facility, which encompasses probably 60 to 70% of the employees at the facility. One of the cornerstones of our success has always been to focus on our people. Jessica Hayes, who is here with me today, leads the HR department and works tirelessly to ensure that we attract, retain, and develop the best talent in the industry and the best talent that we have here in Avoyelles Parish and other parishes. So at this point, I'd like Jessica to talk about what we actually offer, our benefits, and what we do for the community.
I graduated from Avoyelles High in Mooresville and began a career at Caritas 22 years ago. Caritas works closely with 2 temp agencies, one in Alexandria and one in Pineville, and we also work with the Louisiana Workforce Employment Office here in Marksville to keep our facility operating at full capacity. Currently, we employ about 130 people. When a temp comes to work at Caritas, they work for approximately 90 days where they receive a performance review and roll over to Caritas employment. Shifts are normally 12 hours. One week you would be eligible for 36 hours, the next week would be 48, and that continues on a rotation. We operate year-round. We do all of our training on job, such as blueprint reading, taking measurements using calipers and micrometers, forklift operation certifications, bloodborne pathogens, CPR, and AFib. We support and enforce a safety program with incentives. Once a temp employee rolls over, they are offered a full benefit package, which includes health, dental, vision, life, group life, supplemental life, long-term disability, business travel accident insurance, paid vacations, paid holidays, and paid sick time. They're offered a tuition reimbursement program, yearly bonuses, paid jury duty and witness leave, paid funeral leave, free parking, casual dress, an employee assistance program. We currently have a 401k plan with a 50% match on the first 4% of their contribution. And when they become a Caritas employee, they become part of the employee stock ownership plan, which means Caritas takes about 11% of what they make annually, deposits in a stock account at their name at no cost to them. It grows over time and they're eligible for payouts upon termination of employment. Staff also enjoy meals, yearly stock awards, service awards, incentive programs, and a Christmas party. Caritas stays active in the community by sponsoring events, giving out candy at Halloween, hosting job fairs, giving tours to educate students on local job and industry, participating in high school JAG events, speed interviews, and the Avoyelles School Board Career Day. I'd like to introduce to you Charlie Bryant, our production superintendent. He is responsible for overseeing the day-to-day operations of our manufacturing facility. Under his leadership, Caritas has implemented a state-of-the-art production system that enhanced our efficiency while maintaining the high standards of quality that our customers have come to expect. Charlie's team works diligently to ensure that every product we manufacture is built to last and meets the strict safety standards. Charlie will step up to give you the overview this time.
So just a quick overview of our plant. Caritas has multiple departments creating a wide range of products and energy services. In our steel department, we offer mini valves all the way from needle valves all the way to a 12-inch soft seat gate valve. All of the products assembled in our steel department are API 60 certified. Within the department, we have multiple test stands, machine centers, and paint booths to complete the products. In plastic, it all starts in our molding department. We take a plastic pellet, we melt it down in an injection molding machine, and we form a molded part. We have 13 injection molding machines, and for quality, we have an X-ray machine for detection of voids and porosity. In our CNC room, We use 12 CNC lathes, machined to a blueprint, measured with calipers and micrometers. In our fusion department, we use McElroy fusion machines, where we take all the components, fuse them into a final valve, we pressure test them before we ship them to our customer. MIJ, in 2018, Caritas invested nearly $10 million in the launch of the product line, added 30,000 square foot to the facility. We introduced state-of-the-art turning centers and a robotic welder. Basically, in closing, as a company, we are deeply committed to the communities where we operate. Over the years, we have created jobs and partnered with various organizations to support education, workforce development, and community incentives. At Caritas, we're looking forward to continuing our work in the area. We are excited about future opportunities to create even more value for our employees, our customers, and our community. If there's any questions that y'all may have, us three can answer.
How many employees you have? How many employees you have?
Approximately 130.
We're glad to hear this.
130, we're looking at bringing additional product lines in. One of the new product initiatives that we're doing right now is a meter set. A meter set is basically where you see at schools, medical facilities, where it's multiple gas meters, multiple connections that could connect into it. So we're bringing that into our facility, as well as welding stainless steel valves. That's a brand new initiative that started over probably the last couple months. So going through here, going through the trials and tribulations, going through basically all the testing. So we're hopeful that within the next 18 months, both of these is going to be fully going, and it's going to increase the head count a little bit from where we're at today.
Was that part of that expansion?
You know, the expansion was strictly centered around building MIJ. MIJ is a monolithical insulation joint. Basically, it's a joint which is put in a metal pipeline to break the continuity of electricity, of static electricity, because if you run in a 2-inch line and over a mile or two, static electricity will build up to where it creates a charge which could kill someone. So these valves that we build actually break the continuity in these lines. So that was the main focus when we added the 30,000 feet, but now we're utilizing the robot to expand from that to where we could begin a 24/7 operation on that robotic cell.
In the future, you're planning on expanding?
You know, we're always looking at expanding and new product lines. There was a big initiative to try to go to the European market, which would be millimeter valves. You know, that's still an open objective. We're just trying to find the right channels to actually get out there and be able to project the sales forecast. You know, that would be the next huge expansion if it becomes electrician.
Running out of profit,
You know, maybe we go 2 stories, you know, we'll have to go up instead of out.
Fill the swamp.
Yeah, I have to see my camera.
Yeah. Where you can fill the pond.
Yeah. You know, there was a lot of questions about that pond on the back. You know, at one point I heard it was considered part of wetland. I don't know the transition to be able to utilize that property and abate the wetlands. I heard sometimes there may be some kind of offset where you buy additional land to put the wetlands to offset this. Yeah, thank you guys for letting us come over here. We just wanted to kind of showcase Caritas, let you guys know. I know they got some new members on the board, and we wanted to let you guys know what we do and who we are, and more than welcome for any type of tours, whether it's school tours, you guys want to come in, or anybody in the general public want to come see what we do, we'll take up for a tour.
You got a good product. We used it at the new power plant.
Good. Appreciate it.
Take it on any tour.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you. Just give Jessica a call and we'll line it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Dr. Jay Callagher, Home Roof Charter.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As promised a couple of months ago, I would come back and give you guys the signed charter that the committee signed at our last meeting. I'm going to give it to y'all for your archives.
This has been a little over a year-long process, and what I did was, just to let everyone know, I went over about 10 different charters from parishes that have passed these that are comparable to our demographics and our economics and our size. And I took parts of those and I created this document. Now, the commission that you guys appointed, we met every month, and we met on decision points, and we talked about these decision points, and we debated back and forth, and we came to conclusions on what's best for our parish, not what's best for these other parishes. So if you read the charter, you look into it, all those decision points, you can see we all discussed and decided what was best for our parish. And hopefully moving forward, the voters will approve this next April. It's going to go on the ballot. And that's going to be a little process we're going to have to do. We're going to have to work on together to get that on the ballot. Once it goes on the ballot in April, if it passes, then we become a new parish government. We have a home rule charter government here at Avoyelles Parish. If that's the case, there'll be a transition period between then and the next parish-wide election, which we will elect the president of the parish.
So Jay, you know that, time between the election and the spring to that election for the parish president. Will the parish president be appointed, or the council appoint somebody?
We're going to have the council president will act as president until there's an elected president. It'll be a transition period. It'll be much of the same with what we have. And like I've told people many times, this is not going to change the parish tomorrow. This is looking 10, 20, 30, 100 years to the future for economic development in Avoyelles, for community development, for all of us to have a growing parish and growing community. That's what it's for.
I have a question. So, follow up on what you just said. So, if it passes, then whoever the parish jury president is would serve as the temporary parish president?
Well, it's kind of like we can have the same duties he has now. He wouldn't have to come in every day, obviously, until we elected.
No, I understand that. I'm curious, would his seat be filled?
No.
Okay, so he just serves as an interim.
Okay, let's say we have, in November, October, we have the parish president elections, then he would be the president of the council. Well, he'll be the president of the council that have the election.
But the salary.
The salary, yeah.
What is that?
Will he get the salary?
No, he won't get the salary.
Okay, I have another question.
All right.
If that person, let's just assume it's him, does he get the vote as a police juror and then get the veto or not? I'm just curious.
They would act as they are now until the full new government.
The transition period now.
It's a transition period for the full new government. Yeah. And just leave that open for y'all to decide some of that as well. Yeah, it's open for y'all to make a lot of
The next day you are.
Yeah.
You're a choice.
I have a question.
Yep.
But you don't get the salary.
The same people that are now be in charge.
I have a question
Yes.
regarding the president's salary.
Mhm.
When I gave my financial report, we had, I think, right at 60,000, and I noticed in here his salary would be 90. Did y'all discuss where that would be taken from?
No, we did discuss it.
Because the jurors are paid from general fund, and that's part of that 60,000.
That's part of that transition period, if you're able to find that. The delegation that have come talk to us said that the first day the parish president took over, he saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars by initiating certain things and being a full-time person to sit there and look at finances and figure
So
it out.
that's where it comes from.
That's typically where it comes from. They also start writing grants, full-time grant writer. I mean, everybody says full-time.
Save a lot of money by layoffs too, did you?
Good. Thank y'all.
All right, moving on, number 8 on the agenda, Mr. Franks. Number 8.
Yes, adopt financial report given by the Secretary Treasurer, budget versus actual.
Okay,
First motion.
Okay, motion made, I need a second. Mr. Mark. Question, discussion, yours. Question, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 9, need a motion for abandonment a portion of Lake Pearl Road. So motion by Mr. Pierce, I need a second by Mr. Franks. Questions, comments from the jurors?
Yes, I have a lot. Can I take my turn?
Go ahead, if you want.
So there's a couple of things. Again, to be fair, again, we have to be fair on both sides, and I feel like my position is here. Rod Warren, you came up, and I want to clarify a couple of things on the record. So, first, we had a motion to go into public hearing the last meeting, and a committee and such forth. And Darrell Desautel was here, your co-owner in Lake Pearl property, and it was discussed that there would be a servitude. John, what was the exact word that?
Predial servitude.
A what?
A predial servitude.
Got it. That would be done, and I was assuming for this meeting, was to have it where it would be of a parcel of land, right? From your land to each one of the property owners that are adjoining to your property, where no matter that person, that individual that sells, this, if one would adopt, it didn't matter. It was a servitude that would be there recorded in the courthouse, and that would be put in where it would protect all property owners involved in this area of where this proposed abandonment of the road is. Has that been done?
No, sir, it's not been formally in writing yet. However, if you guys do approve the closure of the road, I commit in this public hearing that it will be done, and there are 3 landowners that will be affected by it, or 3 parcels of land, and each of those parcels of land will have a, what the assistant DA said, to make sure that no matter if it's the current owners or new owners, if we sell our property, that they will have unrestricted access to their property from our property that's adjacent to them, via the road that's there.
I think that's what he's talking about, whether it's who sells, who buys, who's living, it doesn't matter. It means that there always will be a servitude there. Because I don't want any, in my opinion, as police sheriff, I'm thinking both sides, no one to get landlocked. I mean, again, we don't want that. I'm sure you don't want that, as well as if I was a landowner in there too. That would be there. So I just wanted the jury to understand that, because that's what we had to talk about. Well, what had been discussed the last meeting, and I wanted to bring that up. Number 2, the gate, this almighty electronic gate, is going to be put past Mr. Turner's property. Am I correct? And it will actually be put about 250 foot past the corner of Wesley's property, correct?
That is correct.
Will there be a gate or anything that will hinder Mr. Turner where his driveway is today?
No, sir.
Will there ever be a gate put up by the wooden bridge?
No, sir.
Okay. Will he have to put a new driveway? That you will stop him in any way?
No, sir.
Okay, that's what I thought, but there have been some things said, but I'm not gonna go with that. Again, I wanted to make those things clear of what I heard, and it's been 5 or 6 months, right? I just wanted to make sure that the jury knew about that again, there are reasons why this road is in deplorable condition. We know it's a dump site. There's reasons I can see, and then there's also the other side of people using the road also, right? That have been there, I just came and talked about today also. But again, for Mr. Turner that's here, I just don't want to see him in any way being shut out of his property. That again has always been there. I know that your property is where the boundaries are, but again, if we could have it on the public record, Mr. Jonathan, if there's a motion that gets passed to close the road, can there be in the motion that there can be put in that hindering this servitude? Because it's like trying to pass a motion, but yet he would have to do something else.
Well, see, that's where the problem is. I have no reason to doubt what you're saying.
Right.
But once you abandon a road, you can't unabandon a road.
Correct.
So the servitude, predial servitude, it would have been a whole lot better idea to have that in place first and then abandon the road. Because just because you say something in a public hearing, and I'm not saying that you're not being truthful, it's not binding.
That's what I'm asking.
And like I said, you can't unabandon the road. That's the only problem.
Mr. Sam?
If they gave this predial servitude ahead of time, doesn't the same thing hold forth there, that they can't take it back?
What's that again?
Doesn't the same set of,
No, once you sign a servitude, it's done.
it's done.
It's done.
So if the road did get abandoned, then they couldn't take it back, just the same as.
Well, they already have the servitude. What they're talking about, the predial servitude, is something.
I understand what you're talking
Contemplation of
about.
road being abandoned.
But the same rules apply to them on the other side of the argument.
Well, yes and no, because they already have a servitude. Because it's a public road. So there's really, at this juncture, there's really not.
It's an implied servitude.
Okay, any other jurors?
I'd like to say something. I mean, I've been here 29 years and we've closed a lot of roads, abandoned a lot of roads. Just like Bayou Rouge. Most of the time when we abandon the road, nobody comes. Nobody objects to it. We've got a bunch of people here that are objecting to it. What happens if we abandon it? With all these people, and according to the district attorney years ago, if one person objects to it, you can't close it, you can't abandon it.
Well, it's discretionary. You can have a room of 100 people here opposing it, and you still have the discretion to do it. But they would have the discretion to file a lawsuit saying that the abandonment of the road was arbitrary and capricious. And they did have a case like that back in the 60s and 70s. And the Third Circuit Court of Appeals said that it was arbitrary. So, yeah, you can have 100 people here saying we oppose it, and you can still do it. But then they could file a lawsuit.
File a lawsuit against us.
Correct.
I'm gonna say something too. I'm sorry.
Mark, you heard?
What's that?
You heard?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I didn't think, I was involved in closing this road, but I've asked some people in my district to call me and ask me to vote no on closing. And I work for these people. They're the reason I'm in office. And I'm just gonna say, I gotta vote no on closing the road.
Any other jurors? All right, questions, comments on the audience? All right.
If the jury decides not to approve this, what about the continuing maintenance on the road? Because that's been kind of lacking. What about the joyriders that are riding down there? And no enforcement being taken?
The maintenance
So if you guys decide to not do this, is there gonna be any change in what's happening?
The maintenance is on us. The Joe Rider is not our problem.
Right.
Okay, that's law.
That's the sheriff's.
Okay, we got that problem all over.
What about the maintenance?
I understand we don't maintain it.
I can tell you that there's a hole about that deep in the road right now that if you hit it at 30 or 40 miles an hour, you're not gonna have an axle.
I rode the road a lot of money ago. I don't have a four-wheel drive, and I was able to travel the road.
My wife passed yesterday in her minivan.
Okay, any other?
I have something to say, and it's in no way to be corrective of Mr. Rock, but there are more than 3 people past me that have property that you have to do the servitude for. Wesley Goche, okay, hold on, Michael Goche, Carl Stevens Jr., and then the gentleman at the very end, I count Mr. John Barber. All right, all these people are landlocked. Carl has property on both sides, but he has to cross John Barton's property to get to a piece of his property. Okay, and if him and John have a falling out, then that goes through the window. And the right way to access it now is by the road that it touches, not through this one's pasture and across this field and through the countryside. It's closer for John to get his property through Lake Pearl Road than to go the mile through Lisa Pore's abandoned fields. And that's just.
Okay, all right. Anybody else?
The servitude doesn't cure that.
I'm asking.
Does the servitude cure that?
What if we had one?
Let me ask a question.
You don't have one.
Can this be, can this vote be done for the next one?
Or you have to start the process all over?
You can't table this, you know, just don't went through the procedure.
Sam,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Pierce, I think what Jonathan was trying to say, and stated clearly, is that if the right-of-ways, I know we have a commitment that they'll do it, but if they're not done and recorded in the courthouse, and there's no enforcement of it, and any servitude that we would do, we'd make sure that the police jury is covered, okay, so that people would have access. And I think what this gentleman is saying, there's more than 3 people involved, and there may be disagreement on the part of the owners as to how many people should get the right-of-ways. I think he mentioned 3, but if there are others that are needed.
Wouldn't the right of way, and I understand it's not done, but wouldn't it cover every property that touches it?
Well, that depends. I mean, we don't know. And there's a lot of things that you can disagree about, or that people can potentially disagree on in a right of way. But we don't know that until we have it.
And all owners should be on the right.
All people that are gonna enjoy the servitude, which presumably would be all of the owners.
It would be individual right-of-ways. For instance, I think Rock has authority for a resolution to sign on behalf of whatever the corporation is called.
Yes, sir.
They would have to have one for whichever individual they're doing the right-of-way for, and that person would have to sign. And of course, they would probably get legal advice as to whether it's done properly or not. So just to make
If
sure.
I may address the 3, and what I said.
But it's only 3, right?
Yes, yes. Wesley Goche has access because the gate is past his property where it starts, and he and I sat with that, and I do have a letter of support from him. So you have Michael Goche, you have Mr. Carl does have access, and we can agree to disagree, but I can promise he has access to it. And actually, the survey that was just done, he doesn't have property on the other side of the road, and I know y'all saw the stakes. You have Mr. Jonathan that's in here that needs access, and I've already told him, and actually sent emails and talked to, or attempted to talk to Corey about giving him a legal right-of-way, and I'm waiting for it to come through, and I will be more than happy to grant the servitude, and Mr. Joe Mayhew. There are no other owners.
What about Carl Jr., the piece that comes where the 2 little roads meet up? His property comes to the edge of the road. It's right next to that big pond. There's a sliver.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a sliver of property for Carl Jr. right there.
And he has access to the property.
Mr. Carl doesn't have direct access.
Like I said, we can agree to disagree.
Okay, all right, guys, I might have to say that later.
Okay.
I thought that was, it seems an important issue.
It is an important issue, we're not judge and jury here.
At the end of the day, whoever needs a legal servitude, I'll be more than happy to do it. And I will have to disagree with Mr. Charlie, because if you take the 30-foot right of way, it does not touch our property line. So there does need to be a legal servitude, because I own private property between what the parish has as far as the right of way and y'all's property.
You don't disagree with, I didn't measure it.
Yeah.
No, I understand, you're saying it's more than 30 feet, I'm just
I
saying that the right
ask a question about that. I just want to make sure I understand. So where my property is surveyed out to, where my monuments are in the ground, right? You're saying that your right-of-way goes into my property?
That's what I'm saying, from your property line to the 30-foot property that the parish has, that there is still my property that's between the 2.
There's not 30-foot of distance between the center of that road and my property line.
No, it's 15 each way.
It's not even 15, it's an 8-foot wide road.
Total, I only brought up the 30 feet.
I'm just asking why.
I'm
just trying to make sure I understand. I'm sorry.
Have the discussion, that's why.
Okay. All right. I'll come back, I'll end the discussion, and I'm speaking out of the juror. In the past, you know, when I hear a road being abandoned, somebody else is different. I'd like to see the district work it out, because you're more familiar with it than we are. So we kind of have to go by what you tell us. I mean, that's the way I've always been, is reaching my judgment. However, there's been more opposition to this since I've been on the jury than I've seen in public meeting. I just want to say that, okay? All right? This is an important matter, seems like a lot of things on this issue. I'm gonna call for a vote, a voice vote. I'm gonna call your name, and if you're for it, you'll say yea. If you're against it, you'll say nay. And if you want to abstain, you say abstain. Okay? Mr. Franks?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Against.
Mr. Sampson?
Against.
Mr. Coco?
For.
Mr. Benson?
Against.
Mr. Thomas?
Against.
Mr. Pierce? Motion fails, 4-3. All right, moving on. Motion to abandon the portion of Bayou Rouge Road. We have a motion. I get a motion by Sam, second by Mr. Thomas. Questions, comments from the jurors? Questions, comments from jurors? Hearing none. Questions, comments from the audience? Okay. I think we can vote on this openly. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right. Number 11, need a motion to adopt the fair ride ordinance. Mr. Thomas, second by Mr. Coco. Questions or comments from the audience? From the jurors? I think we went through this pretty thorough. Yeah, this planning commission did a great job. All right, questions, comments from the audience? Huh? You're fixing to be one way or the other.
They've been almost this last year,
I'll be here. Okay, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? We done with it. Okay.
Been within a year.
Library appointments, is next. I know we do it at water board, so we want to do these individually also. Okay, all right. I need a motion to put Paula Scanlon on the library board. Yeah, I'm doing it individually. All right, moved by Mr. Thomas. Second by Mr. Sampson. Question, comments from the jurors? This is my appointment, Ms. Paula, I can tell you, the former teacher, good person, she'd be a blessing to the library. Question, comments from the audience? All right, all in favor of Ms. Scanlon, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, she's on there. All right, Mr. Frank?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Ms. Lisa Gouillon,
Okay.
and she's from the Fifth Ward area that would represent the Fifth Ward Library. She's excited to hopefully have the opportunity, and as well as a lot of people from the Fifth Ward community. So I'd like to first motion for her nomination.
Second by Mr. Pierce. Questions, comments? Yours? Questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of Ms. Gouillon, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Mr. Lattimore, whoever wants to.
Well, I want Miss Marina to stay on the board. She's been there 43 years, missed 3 meetings in her whole career, her whole time.
Okay.
And she's getting ready to move to New York, so I'm gonna let her stay until, we both gonna let her stay.
I'm part of it, not that.
Okay. Anybody, Mr. Benson? Questions, comments? Yours? No doubt she's a fine lady. All right, questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of Ms. Gadget, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, Mr. Sam?
Nominate Jay Calgary.
All right, I get a second. Second by Mr. Thomas.
I might amend that to be Dr. Jay Calgary.
Yeah. Question, comment? We all know Mr. Dr. J. Question? Yeah, you earned it. Okay. Question, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of Dr. Calgary, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, welcome aboard, sir. Alan or Jacob, when y'all make a motion, Chris Bordelon? All right.
Make a motion to appoint Chris Bordelon to the library board.
All right, get a second. Second by Mr. Coco. Questions, comments?
Who's Mr. Big man. No, y'all know him good.
Any questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, Mr. Sampson.
I nominate Mr. Michael Johnson.
All right, got a motion, Mr. Michael Dawson, second by Mr. Thomas. Questions, comments from the jurors? Questions, comments from the audience?
Just a question. Board members serve about 5 years or
They have
less?
5-year term. Hearing none, any other comments? All right, all in favor of putting Mr. Dawson on the library board, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so they are in effect as of today. Mr. Franks, I guess you reached out to Mr.
Yes, we have, I had a meeting with several things, but we're gonna have a board meeting in April, so we're gonna follow the same schedule. There's no need to meet up in March, so introduce, and have all of the new appointments.
I asked you guys to contact people and
Yeah, and that'll be in April.
I understand that meeting's gonna be at the new library in Boardwalk.
We didn't talk location, but I trust you.
Well, that's
If
what
you
I
guys towards that. It's in Bartleville? Cool.
all right. All right, moving on, Mr. Thomas from 13.
Approve the sale of adjudicated property, it's a 9-acre tract at Knoll and Dufour at fair market value that was set by our assessor at $16,000.
All right, second by Mr. Coco. Questions, comments from the jurors? Questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That's a great thing. Mr. Benson, number 14.
Approved, that's Mr. Repair Help Unit Ceiling, we have 3 bids. Norman, those are in the risk. Mr. Norman Construction is $6,800. Mr. Joe is $6,391.65. Mr. Russ was $5,883. I make a motion that we with Mr. Russ, who is the lowest bidder, to do the help unit ceiling.
All right, second by Mr. Coco. Everybody's aware of what happened, we had a ceiling in this hall. So,
Just failed.
the whole thing collapsed. You, go ahead.
Yeah, it was, when I talked to, people at the help unit, there was one person that was sitting there, and none of the ceiling bidder, and we was lucky, it could have been full of people, but everything just stayed down. Even lights. Same type of ceiling is
All right. Questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Jacob, number 15.
All right, the energy committee met last month, kind of review our health insurance for our employees. Premium increase from $586.48 to $630,001.40.
Okay. All right, second by Mr. Benson. Questions, comments?
Yes, this is Jacob, Mr. Benson. With the increase, and we hear increase on anything in finance, but no changes if deductibles get increased, or did y'all compare to any other insurance agencies on prices?
We grandfathered in now, Blue Cross, and they recommend against going out, and grandfather, but,
They grandfather from you gonna get the.
Jim probably took more on that.
So what do you mean they grandfather? I don't understand that, they're a private business.
They're agent of record. So what
Okay.
happens is, once you sign it over, they lock the market. They can't shop, no one else can shop for your rates. So you're pretty much with that company.
So we got a guy that comes before us. That's a broker, okay? And he goes out and he finds us the best prices. And he presents it to us. And we choose, what we think is best for the do.
He
That's
did.
Kobe.
He left some,
That's Kobe.
Yeah.
yeah, he left some, brochures. We didn't get any for the other jurors.
I think y'all all had it written here to me.
Yeah, we had it, but the other jurors.
No, sir, I just put that out.
So, Mr. Frank, I'll get you my copy.
I have a digital copy of it. I have a digital copy. I can get it.
And he just, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how we, come over.
He did compare some other plans, and there was no real benefit in changing.
And we did have more claims this year than normal.
That increased it.
Yeah.
I think he gives a list to his,
I have a digital copy. I'll email it to you.
that he's compared with other, insurance companies for different options. And I think that.
Yeah, there's a
came back
list.
with was cheaper.
And I think maybe next time we might have to look for a larger deductible for the employees. To bring our rates down.
Yeah, I mean, it's, so to get to what the insurance is gonna cost more than an employee's salary. Yeah, I mean, it's like that all over, it's not just.
All right, any more questions?
Could you expand on what you rate, what does that mean? You have employees, family, is that an increase?
That's the increases. That's the increases.
On an annual basis?
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Any other comments, comments? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, adopt an ordinance creating a hearing panel consisting of one representative from the following offices: planning commission, police, jury, litter committee, district attorney, and justice of the peace.
I'll make a motion.
All right, motion by Mark, second by Mr. Thomas. Questions or comments, yours?
That looked like a good committee.
What is, this is for blighted properties and abandoned, if there's they get a letter, they can come before this committee. Okay? Questions, comments, or comments?
Yeah, did y'all verify with the DA's office that one of them is gonna be available to serve?
We talked to them, and it's probably something. There's something to tell us every time. Okay? Okay. And we're gonna rotate our members with our little committee, okay? Okay, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
How about this deal about, Barry going into the towns? Are we gonna get an agreement?
I talked with Mr. Riddle.
I'd like to say something here that, I went to, the Estimate Council meeting yesterday, and, just, kind of bring the speed about, that they were interested in doing this and what. And that was a question, and maybe Johnson can expand on this. But, one of the councilmen said something that there was a case law, I don't remember, where if municipality has someone, has the ordinances, someone already in place to do that, then actually they can't contract or can't get into an agreement with another body to do it. So they're expressing concern over that. So do you know what he's talking about?
I don't, I mean, if they have concern about it, they just have to agree to.
Well, but the point is, they want to know where to stand at before they decide to agree or not to. So I think they need to give them.
I wouldn't make it complicated. I'd go to them and say, hey,
Well, that's
you want me in your area, this is where it's gonna be. And then Mr. Riddle said this is town, or the municipality needs to come up with a resolution saying they agree to have the litter making officer be able to enforce and plus have it tried in order to enforce.
The JP for the Central area called me yesterday, and they want to do it in Simpson Council. The JP from the Central area, they want to do it in the Yeah, the mayor and council agree to do it.
Yeah, well, the council, they would have to adopt the resolution.
Okay.
But would the jury get compensated for?
That's the next question.
Yeah, it's got to go to our committee.
Yeah.
It's got to go to our
that's what we worry about, if we get it in writing, then that might be a problem later down the road also. All right? Number 17, I need a motion to call for a public hearing on April 8, 2025, 4:45 p.m. to adopt resolutions to the following ordinances. This is the property standard, condemnation of buildings, and blighted property. Need a motion? A motion by Mr. Burrell, second by Mr. Thomas. We met the last planning commission on this and brought it up. I agree. We tweaked a few things, the writing, and it's all good. Planning commission's recommend that we accept it. All right. Any questions from you? Questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 18, Dave.
I make a motion to approve $5,000 for road issue 2, to make roadway improvement for Levi Grimmel Road, that's elevating the road, portion of Levi Grimmel.
You have, you second that, Thomas, Mr. Thomas. Second that? Road District 2, okay. Second by Mr. Thomas. Questions, comments?
That's all on money.
All right. Questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. 19, Mr. Franks.
Yes, sir, jury, in your packet, you'll have where we had, three, actually, 4 bids for the replacement of the parking lot at the Marksville Library branch. And as you can tell by that, American Construction was, the lowest bidder at $190,245.50. And also in the tree removal, we had 3 bids, and McLemoyne was the cheapest at $4,500. So I first the motion that we approved American Construction at $192,245.50 and McLemoyne at $4,500.
Second that. All right. Motion made, second by Mr. Burrell. Question, comment? Gary?
When y'all at 250?
And Mr. Benson, there was 250, 325, and like 400. There was 3 tiers that Pan American gave. I kind of talked to Pan American. We wanted to kind of streamline some things and Kevin Borlon really helped us out a whole bunch and got the quotes in. So we should save $70,000, $80,000 by kind of running it through Kevin and getting the contractors like we are. So,
I was just wondering, the price was up there.
it was up there, but we're gonna do a lot better. Kevin's to save us some money on that and get his contractors.
Question, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr.
Go ahead.
I forgot one thing. There was I want to first a motion for the energy. We have to move a pole at the end of the driveway. We want to widen the entrance of the driveway up. And I first a motion for $4,047.01 on a motion to send, that's for energy for them to move their telephone pole. It sits right on the edge of the driveway right now, so it needs to be moved. I'm sorry, I forgot that amount. $4,047.01.
I just wanted to.
That's, there's 3, and I'm just saying, I just gave you 2 numbers, I forgot to give you the third one either.
Okay, get a second for that motion? All right, second by Mr. Burrell. Question, comments from the jurors?
The Public Service Commission moving out.
No, and I mean, guys, this money also, they do have adequate funds, and this is coming all out of the library funds, so.
All right.
Well, you know it wouldn't come out there,
No.
Maybe we would have voted no.
Because that check would bounce. Oh.
No, he wouldn't.
Off
He
the
wouldn't.
wall.
Any other questions from the audience?
Yeah, how soon can they start and how long is it gonna take?
They're pulling up all the old concrete?
Yeah, they put up all the concrete, I think, Kevin, did you say you wanted to do it right around like half of May timeframe?
It's probably gonna be May, yeah.
Pull the trees out
Yeah,
first.
pull everything, I'll take all the trees down first, they need to come out then. Pull the concrete.
Pulling them out?
You know, do the concrete phases, the back corner lot will be done first, all the corner in there front, and then we'll do the front. Library parking will be closed for about 5 days to do the front. Yes, I know what sewer.
Yeah, sewer line passes right there.
Road will be complete by August time frame.
Yeah, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 20, Mr. Thomas.
Approve the following changes in the personnel manual, section 5.4B, overtime is defined for, as 40 hours per week. Plus. Section 5.4D, all compensatory time must be authorized by the Secretary Treasurer, Civil Works Director, or the Director of Homeland Security, and Health Unit Administrative Coordinator.
Down, you say overtime is defined over 40 hours per week.
Over, it should be defined as over 40 hours per week.
Okay, you making this motion?
Yes.
All right, I get a second. Second by Mr. Coco.
And the only,
Go ahead.
the only problem I have with this is when you put the health unit administrative coordinator, I don't think she works for us.
No, sir, but we have parish employees, and she's the one that signs their time sheets. So she has to approve their compensatory time or overtime, whatever they have. So we
Is
have.
that legal, that she don't work for the jury, she's approving overtime? And
Ms. Kim, I would
I'm
assume so,
also
since she's over that.
correcting my question, but
I honestly don't know. I mean, if it's been like that for years.
Who does it every time?
Legislative auditors.
Who does it every time?
We do, I'm doing it now. And the payroll would have been like that, and we've never had any, any issues from our auditors, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about, you know, she don't work for us, it's good, approving hours. I don't know,
What,
On their time.
for the health unit?
They you do the time, but it's
For
their
the payroll?
Yeah.
Yes, for the board too, but Kevin approves their time, and Ms. Kim approves for that.
Then I should say Ms. Kim will work for
No, sir, she does not.
us. I don't know if that's
She's a
legal
state employee,
for her to.
but she's there, so I don't know who you put there to be able to, I guess, oversee those people. Would you have to hire someone else from the parish to go and oversee those employees? I've never had that question asked me before, so I don't know.
Well, when I looked at this, I said, the administrative coordinator, she don't work for us, but she's approving our employees. I don't know if that's legal, you know.
That would probably, that's outside of my wheelhouse, so that would have to be.
How long does it go on?
I've been here for 10 years and it's been that way.
Well, doesn't make it right.
No, I understand.
So, I would ask them to give a legal opinion on this. to see
Is she a
if
state employee?
She's a state employee, but she's not a parish employee.
Correct.
She's not there, she's a state.
So what you think? You think maybe now it's time we should get a legal opinion?
It's up to y'all. I mean, off the top of my head, I have no idea. Because if it's been done for years and all of the books are checked and nobody says anything, I would have to assume that it's okay. If not, then we can check. It's up to y'all.
How you feel about it? Personnel? Rebecca? You want to
That's
pass
the
the
way
first
it's
part?
been done, and who else would we have to oversee their overtime or extra time?
Well, she directs them.
And she's there direct,
So
regardless.
you have
She
to-
sets up their time.
You have to put someone with the parish.
Well, unless her state contract says she has the authority to do that.
If it does, and I haven't been here since the beginning of time, so I can only go to the past day.
I'm not saying it does, but.
Well, I'm just asking a question.
It's a good question, I just don't have the answer. No.
She produces her.
And they're all, like on the Friday, they'll work Saturday. Unless there's an emergency, then they have to.
I just asked a question.
Legitimate.
And I'm sorry I didn't notice it when he was in committee. Y'all don't have no problem with that, I don't have no problem with it.
I think it's a good question.
Yeah.
We won't pass motion as it is, we won't pass it. Because we'll get a legal line, we'll get a.
Actually, Chairman, I'm just saying.
I'm asking you, Mr. Chairman, you won't pass it as it is, you won't take it and check into it or what?
No, I'd like to pass it as is, and then we're gonna look into it.
Okay.
All right, motion been made and seconded. All right, if you need to get a second. Okay. Questions, comments from the audience?
And just to clarify on our 654B, overtime is defined as, I was gonna say over 40
It
hours.
should say over.
Yeah, should be, yeah.
But right now, it says, physically working 40 hours. But we've had that question before, Baton Rouge sent us that, physically working, when we have a holiday during the week. You have to physically work over 40. I'm presuming that's gonna stay the same. But I need y'all to clarify, sorry. And that comes into effect when we have holidays, like 2 weeks ago, we had guys working a holiday, and then we had guys working the weekend. So it made our payroll complicated, so that's why we had guys with 90 hours of straight time and 4 hours overtime back and forth. Okay? And it does come into play on Thanksgiving holidays and Christmas holidays and things like that. They're physically working 40 hours.
So you think we need to put physically work for?
Well, it's whatever, I mean, that's our ruling now. We got from Baton Rouge, and if it stays the same, we're fine with it. Stays the same. I don't know what other people come up and tell me tomorrow, hey, y'all pass this, and now we work on a holiday, we're automatically getting overtime. No, you're not, you gotta still work the 40, you gotta work the 40. You know?
Because if they work this week over 40 hours, then they're compensated for that week in the second.
Yeah.
If they don't, then they're not doing it.
Yeah.
So it's by week.
Yeah.
Everything on by
We have a 2-week pay period, 2-week work
pay
week.
period, 2-week pay period, but everything, your hours are
We have a,
Monday to Sunday.
we have a 2-week pay period and a 1-week work period, correct?
Right, Monday to Sunday. Sometimes we'll have people working on Sunday.
And 1 week they may work those, and then the next week they don't.
But when we have a holiday in there, sometimes we've had people working at midnight on Sunday night, carry into 2 o'clock Monday morning, I had to carry them from 1 week to the next.
Yeah.
Their time stopped at midnight and started over again at 12 a.m. Sunday night. But my main question is here, is it still the same like it's always been, physically working 40 hours?
That's not what it says here.
I know, that's what I wanted to clarify.
Are we going to put that in there, physically work, or we going to leave it like it is?
That's what it should be.
Physically work?
It's in the manual that we got from Baton Rouge. It was inserted in there. I've never seen it actually in hours.
Yeah, add it to it.
Okay. That helps us out.
Yeah. That monstrosity.
This is what they're gonna put in the manual.
So where do you do it right now?
We doing it?
Do the wording, that's what it's
doing
We do it.
Exactly.
You got that, Mr. Shane?
Okay, any other comment from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 21, Mr. Thomas.
Approve Ms. Morrow's material yard invoices for $6,439.92 to be paid from Road District 2 account that's on rock that we put on several different roads.
I think it.
Second by Mr. Doto. Questions or comments from the jurors? Questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right. 22, Mr. Pierce.
Yeah, to give you a little backstory, we tabled the changes to the permit fee that the planning commission sent us at the last meeting. And I'm assuming everybody has had a month to think about it or talk about it. And all we have, right now, we have, I'm gonna bring this back up. We have a second and we vote on whether or not to look at, to take it off, to put it back on the table. That's all we're gonna do right here.
All right, you make a motion.
I'm making the motion that we
Remove
take
an item from the table.
Yes.
Second by Mr. Coco. All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right. I'll read the motion if you want to.
Please.
All right, the motion was made by Sam Pierce, second by Jacob Coco, to adjust new construction permit fee from 20 cents per square foot for enclosed areas to 5 cents per square foot of open area. Correct?
The open areas only.
Okay. Question, comments from yours?
Okay, do we change it from what it used to be?
Yes.
This is a change.
And it's for everybody, everybody get a change.
Across the board change.
Yeah.
That's
None
what
of
the
the board and
They recommend, because the planning
Planning
commission
commission recommended.
I think on an 8-1 vote.
Yeah.
in the future, we may be raising it again.
Yeah, probably so.
Maybe.
We've done that, I don't know how many times.
Look, you just heard Carrie test. We went to Yellowwood the other day. We adjusted fees for both of them, and it has really aided the parish. So,
I hope it does, but.
well, I don't think this is a bad thing.
Was those adjustments, were they taking into account the people that they would hire, the amount of sales, the revenue that they would bring in? Though?
But look, those were done by committee back then rather than the whole jury, so I don't think.
But when we do something like this, guys, it's just like buying a car and negotiate. So now anybody can go negotiate permits.
So somebody comes back next month and says, I want it to be 5 cents.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's my feeling on it. It's gonna change. We have to-
Well, they go to the planning commission, they go to the planning commission, and the planning commission will make the choice whether to change it and present it to the jury.
I agree.
They can't come here and ask to change it.
And what my understanding is, this was a change for everybody.
And I'm fine with that part.
Well, the planning commission needs to take care of it, and manage the budget of the permit office.
Say again?
The planning commission needs to be responsible for the budget of the permit office, and it wouldn't have been anyone who I'm not trying, I'm just trying to say, we work with just a few people that are there, I gotta, just my opinion, that's all, respect.
Mr. Pierce, this will work. Say again? This gonna work? I think so.
In the permit office afford.
Maybe not. I don't know, maybe we'll have to go up on the RV permits. I wonder who got it. Actually, the permit, this is the only permit April has ever written. Now, April hasn't been there forever, but this is the only permit she's written with this kind of open sheds.
Unique permit. And
It is a unique
did
permit.
see this, right? Did y'all see that too?
Yes.
Okay.
The people that came and spoke to us at the last meeting were incredibly inaccurate with their numbers.
That's why I told, to call Rapid Fire, to explain that exactly what it was.
The numbers are there.
Where, what happened in the past, it was per square foot, that's why they did it.
Say again?
Didn't Robin get up his price on that?
RAPC cut their price.
They cut that price.
Well, and then also, it's done by a per square foot price, that, I talked to several people.
It's done on a per square foot price.
But you know where it is, it's the self-contracted people that come in and say, like that, I'm gonna do this structure, and it's gonna cost $250,000.
We don't allow them to do a large project like this, it has to be a contract.
Right. So the price that, the issue that we had before, the price was a lot higher than $250,000.
Absolutely, much higher.
Was the planning commission aware of all this when they made that decision?
No.
So they're making a decision based on the information that.
They hadn't presented these numbers to the planning commission. These bad numbers that they gave us. We did it strictly on, and I don't get a vote, you understand? But we did it strictly on the information as it was presented.
This is on top of what Rapid already did. Any comments, Ronnie? All right.
So this is just the reducing the 20 from 20 cent to 5 cent open air.
Only on open air.
Thank you.
And if they ever come back and close it, they have to get a permit.
No,
And it becomes a 20 cent issue.
20 cent.
So he'd have to come back before us again and bring us all the information this time, before we vote on it.
Well, we're not gonna look at this again.
Oh, okay.
Unless it has to be increased in the future, then you'll have to look at it again.
I just say to the jury, again, think about a budget, think about a permit. We're not trying to take advantage of the people of Avoyelles, but it takes X amount. For us to do that, it's for a reason. Act 12, to make sure there's good structures that are built in Avoyelles Parish. I'm just saying, I don't find it as a bad price. If the building's 25,000 square foot, I don't think that in any way, if somebody built something that bad, that would stop their business plan of 10,000 permit.
Well, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's about a $1,300 savings for them.
But how many
It depends on who it's the most important to. Is it the most important to them or to you?
So it really wouldn't affect much.
It wouldn't.
All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Me. Aye. Okay. Motion carried.
Just gonna come back and get the
All right.
bring it up again.
Need a motion, granting Secretary Treasurer pay all bills waived reading. Motion on consent, second by Mr. Thomas. Question, comment, jury. Question, comment, audience. Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion to adjourn by Mr. Thomas, second by Mr. Sampson. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Hey, Mark?
We done, thank y'all.